The courtroom in Caldwell Crossing smelled of dust, old wood, and decisions that never favored men like Virgil Hawthorne. He stood still, completely still, before the bench. Judge Abner P. didn't rush. Men like him never did. He shuffled papers, adjusted his glasses, and finally spoke like he was reading out the weather. 3 to 5 years. The words landed flat. Heavy, but not surprising. Virgil didn't react. He had learned long ago that reacting only gave people something to work with. The judge leaned back, chair creaking under his weight. Or, he said, dragging the word out, you marry Harold Thornwell's daughter. That got a pause, not from shock but calculation. Virgil's eyes shifted slightly toward the window. Outside, the town moved on like nothing important was happening. A dog slept. A woman walked past with purpose. Normal life. Not his. Her name is Frances, the judge continued. Her father drops all charges. You get land. Work. A reason to stay put. Stay put. That was the part that didn't fit. Virgil had built his whole life on leaving before things mattered. He turned the idea over slowly. Prison or roots? One cage or another? She agreed, he asked. The judge hesitated just enough. She didn't refuse. That told Virgil everything he needed to know. He nodded once. I'll do it. And just like that, his life stopped moving. The chapel was small, whitewashed, quiet in a way that didn't feel peaceful. No flowers, no music, just obligation. Virgil stood beside Frances Thornwell for the first time. She didn't look at him, didn't shift, didn't fidget. She stood like something planted, like she had decided long ago that whatever came, she would endure it without bending. That caught his attention. Most people showed something: fear, anger, resignation. Frances showed nothing. Reverend Cook spoke the words like they were routine. Maybe they were. Virgil said his part. Frances said hers. Neither of them meant it, not yet. Outside, the air felt wider, but not freer. Frances turned to him at last. Her eyes were steady, clear, measuring. I didn't ask for this, she said. Neither did I. A small nod. Good. Then we understand each other. No bitterness. No softness. Just terms. You work the ranch. Stay out of my way. I'll do the same. Virgil almost smiled. You always talk like you're closing a deal? Something flickered in her expression. Quick, controlled. I talk like someone who learned not to expect anything. And with that, she walked away. No looking back. Virgil watched her go, and for the first time, he felt something unfamiliar. Respect. The Thornwell Ranch sat quiet against the ridge, like it had been holding its ground for years. Not large, not impressive, but cared for. That mattered. Virgil noticed everything as they rolled in. Strong fences patched, but holding a barn repaired more than once, but properly land worked hard, not abandoned. This wasn't a failing ranch. This was a ranch losing a fight. Harold Thornwell stepped down slowly, leaning on a cane he pretended he didn't need. He studied Virgil like a man judging a tool he might have to depend on. You know cattle? Enough. Fencing? Yes. A pause. Can you track? Virgil narrowed his eyes slightly. What am I tracking? Harold looked toward the north pasture. We've been losing cattle. Not weather. Not wolves. Something else. Someone's taking them. That changed things. Inside the house, Frances moved like nothing had shifted. Routine. Control. Survival. Virgil looked back at the land. This wasn't just work. This was a problem. Virgil didn't wait to be told what to do. He just started working. Fence first. Then the water channel. Then the barn door that had been hanging wrong for too long. No questions. No announcements. Just results. Frances noticed. Not openly, but she noticed. She watched him the way people watch storms from a distance. Carefully. Quietly. Harold noticed too. On the fourth morning, he stood by the fence while Virgil worked. You do clean work. Virgil didn't stop. Wire's only as good as the posts. That earned a nod. Then came the truth. Harold spoke slowly, like each word had weight. Had 2 ranch hands. Good men. Left in spring. Why? Briggs. The name settled heavy. Told them there were disputes over the land. Scare them off. Virgil straightened. That wasn't coincidence. That was strategy. He's been working this place for 2 years, Harold said. Piece by piece. Cattle. Workers. Land. Break it down then, take it. Virgil went back to work. But something had shifted. This wasn't just a place to stay anymore. Virgil rode the boundary alone at dawn. Slow. Careful. Reading the land like it had something to say. And it did. At the northeast corner, he found it. A survey marker moved. Not far, but far enough. 40 feet. 40 feet could mean losing everything. He crouched down. Disturbed soil. Fresh tracks. 2 men. Recent. Deliberate. This wasn't random. This was planned. From the ridge he saw it, a structure far off in the distance, belonging to a man he hadn't met yet. Odell Marsh. But the real threat wasn't Marsh. It was the man working for him, Russell Briggs. Virgil returned to the ranch. Frances was in the garden. He waited until she looked up. The marker's been moved. She didn't act surprised. How far? 40 feet. A quiet pause. My father suspected. I can fix it, Virgil said. She studied him carefully. Briggs will notice. Yes. And when he does, he'll come. Yes. Another pause. Longer this time. You're willing to stand in front of that? Virgil met her eyes. I'm already in it. Something changed then. Subtle, but real. Reset it, she said. And just like that, they stopped being strangers. Virgil reset the marker before sunrise. The air was cold. Still. The kind of quiet that feels like something is watching. He worked carefully, measuring twice, driving the iron stake deep, packing the earth tight like it had never been touched. No shortcuts. No mistakes. When he stood up, he looked across the open range. This wasn't just a correction. It was a message. 4 days later, the answer came. Russell Briggs rode in like he owned the road. Calm. Clean. Controlled. 2 things stood out immediately, his deputy badge and his eyes. Always moving. Always measuring. Didn't know the Thornwells had taken on a hand, Briggs said casually. Virgil didn't move. More than a hand. I'm family. That made Briggs pause. Not long, but enough. A recalculation. Briggs smiled slightly. Quick arrangement. Virgil's voice stayed flat. Still stands. The tension sat between them like a drawn line. I came about the boundary, Briggs said. Heard there might be confusion. No confusion, Virgil replied. Markers are where the deed says they are. Silence. Thin. Tight. Briggs studied him, then nodded once. Well, he said, turning his horse. Good to know someone's paying attention. Before leaving, he looked back. Hope the marriage lasts. Then he rode off. From the porch, Frances had heard everything. He'll come back, she said. I know. And next time, won't be words. This time, when she looked at him, she wasn't looking at a stranger anymore. The attack came at midnight. Not loud. Not chaotic. Precise. Virgil was awake before the second sound. Boots on. Rifle in hand. Moving low. At the north fence he saw them. 6 men. Working fast. Cutting wire. Driving cattle through. Professionals. He fired once into the air. The night shattered. They scattered, but not in panic. In pattern. 2 turned toward him. Young. Hard. Hired hands. Not Briggs. Never Briggs. Virgil moved forward, forcing them back. But not fast enough. 8 cattle gone. 4 recovered. The rest vanished into the dark. He fixed the fence right there. In the cold. In the dark. By feel. Because waiting until morning wasn't what this place needed. When he finished, he stood there a moment longer, looking out across the land, thinking, this wasn't something he could walk away from anymore. Morning brought clarity. And something new. Frances didn't just listen this time. She sat at the table. Part of it. We take this above him, she said. County won't hold. We go territorial. Harold hesitated. Briggs has influence. Then we go higher than his reach. Her voice didn't rise. It didn't need to. She turned to Virgil. Not asking. Waiting. He had spent his life avoiding things like this. Responsibility. Stakes. Staying. But now. I'll ride, he said. Simple. Final. Something in her shoulders eased. Just a little. Virgil left before sunrise, carrying the original deed, his survey notes, Francis's written account. Back at the ranch. Time stretched. Too quiet. Francis slept lightly. Rifle always near. Every sound mattered. Nothing came, which was worse, because silence meant waiting. On the second night, Harold sat beside her on the porch. He fixed that fence in the dark, he said. I know. That's not a man planning to leave. Francis didn't answer, but she had noticed everything. The way Virgil worked, spoke, stood, stayed. And that was new. Virgil came back on the third evening. Dust-covered, but different. Settled. It's filed, he said. Territorial office. Investigator coming. Relief didn't show loudly, but it was there. 4 to 6 weeks. That's a long time, Francis said. It's movement. She looked at him. Something softer now. Thank you. He wasn't used to that. It needed doing. She held his gaze. Not everyone does what needs doing. Something shifted in the room. Quiet, but permanent. 3 weeks later, Briggs returned. Daylight this time. With papers. Confidence. A new survey, he said smoothly, shows the boundary differently. 40 feet. Again. Harold stood still. Francis stood beside him. Virgil stepped forward. Territorial office has the original, he said calmly. Filed and under review. Briggs paused. Just slightly. Investigators coming, Virgil added. That did it. Something behind Briggs' eyes changed. Not fear, but calculation gone wrong. He folded his paper slowly. Good day, he said. And left. He didn't come back. The investigator arrived weeks later. Quiet man. Careful. Thorough. He checked everything. Walked the land. Read the evidence. Listened. Then left. 6 weeks later. The letters came. Result. Original boundary confirmed, Thornwell land secured, Briggs suspended and under investigation. Harold read the letter twice. Then sat still, like something heavy had finally lifted. Francis placed a hand on his shoulder. Virgil looked out the window. The land still theirs. It happened in the garden. Evening. Cold settling in. They worked side by side in silence. Then Francis spoke. I used to think being alone was my fault. Virgil didn't interrupt. I told myself it was enough. A pause. Now I think it was just resignation. She looked at him. Open. Unguarded. For the first time, Virgil felt something shift inside him. Something he had kept locked for years. I'm not leaving, he said. No hesitation. No conditions. She studied him, then nodded once. I know. Spring came, and with it, something real. Not forced. Not arranged. Chosen. They were already married. But now, they became something more. Partners. The ranch held. The fences stood. Life settled into rhythm. They argued sometimes. Worked always. Respected each other. Harold watched it all from the porch. Satisfied. He had gambled. And won. By winter, there was more than just the ranch. By spring, a child. A girl. With her mother's eyes. And her father's stillness. The Thornwell Ranch never became grand. Never famous. But it endured. And that was enough. Virgil Hawthorne, a man who had spent his life leaving, finally stopped. Because this time, there was something worth staying for.